Now by the CEO of University South Africa, Phethiwe Matutu. Dr. Matutu, thank you so much for joining us. You know, this is not directly something the universities actually manage now. Before it used to come through the universities, is my understanding. Now it's going directly through these full service providers appointed by NSFAS. But nevertheless, it's having a massive impact because of the protest. Just give me a sense of how much learning has been impacted, how many campuses have been disrupted.
Between June and now, a number of campuses have been affected, but as we speak right now, we have about 5 campuses which have been affected. And talking about last week, there are 3 others which have been affected. And so some of the institutions are having online teaching as we speak. And then others are going back to face-to-face after last week's disruptions.
Do you have an understanding of why the system changed? Because my understanding is that the universities used to disperse the funds to students. Now the NSFAS money is going through these full service providers.
The NSFAS claim is that students feel that they don't want to have many actors in the process of resolving their problems. So they would rather work with NSFAS directly rather than having the universities in between. But now the service providers are there in between, and the universities are out of the loop. So which means that when a student is encountering any form of problem, unlike in the past where they would go to campus to get that problem sorted out. Now they have to communicate with NSFAS, and NSFAS has to communicate with the service provider before that problem is resolved. And the reality is that right now, because the universities are out of the loop, it's so difficult for universities to know who's being paid what and for what purpose. And what that means is that, let's say a student was off campus and decides to move into campus, they are still going to get the same allowance they've been getting while they've been off campus. So to get information true that, no, this person now is in a university residence, please don't give them as much money as you were giving them before, then that still becomes a problem. So from our side, we didn't have anything against their process. But the problem is the way in which it gets implemented, where you find out that some students have been excluded, for instance, from this payment. And it takes time, and there are glitches which are technical about the process. So we had requested that they must take a few campuses and pilot this thing. And they seem to agree that they will take 3 campuses and do the piloting. But somehow it didn't happen that way. They had this big bang approach on the 1st of July. And now we have the number of students that we're having who are still not being paid.
So, I mean, as you say,
after 2 months.
Exactly, and these are poor kids anyway, and you know how they're going to be fed. What are they going to do? It's a mess, and you're out of the loop as a university. So are you attempting any intervention? Have you been able to speak to NSFAS? Are you trying to negotiate on behalf of the students, or do you just have to sit and watch this mess unfold on your various campuses?
We are dealing with protests for a system that we have not introduced, and a system that we had warning for the NSFAS against, because we had to explain to them how they should be implementing the whole issue of the direct payments. Somehow they were quite hasty, and they introduced it the way that they did. Then the issue of defunding of students is another issue which students have been having unrest about.
All right, thank you so much. Doesn't sound like a great situation at all, with the universities not really able to get involved because they're no longer part of the loop. Dr. Phethiwe Matutu, CEO of University South Africa. Stay with us.